Kick it off here. So, first and foremost, thanks for everyone that has made it on time. We always appreciate that. Welcome to HubSpot's integrating AI tools into your video marketing strategy. So, this is going to be a hug. I don't think I have a full hour of content, but like mentioned, I am going to have a Q&A session at the end. So, if you feel like you have a question that you're holding on to, feel free to drop that in the chat and I'll answer it as we go along if it's topical. If it's not, I'll wait till the end and answer it during the Q&A. But again, we'll go into Q&A at the end of this session. Let me go ahead and kick it off here. If you guys don't know who I am, my name is Aaron Oberdick. I am the video marketing manager at Nextiny Marketing. My primary job responsibilities, including creating video content for our clients, as well as Nextiny itself. I track those videos. I create reports on the analytics. I also dip my toes into graphic design and creation there. So if you guys have any questions regarding my position or Nextiny itself, feel free to ask in the chat as we move along here. Today's agenda, what we're going to be covering, like I mentioned at the top of the video here, AI tools for your marketing strategy. More or less, we're just going to cover tools that I found that's beneficial in some shape or form in the projects that I've worked on. We also have several tools to talk about that have some specific use cases, but I think it should give an experienced videographer an idea on where to start utilizing AI in their video efforts. And if you have no sort of video experience, we're also going to talk about some tools that you can get started with and hopefully kind of jumpstart that video opportunity with marketing. So we'll dive in first here. Just a note, if any of these tools sound interesting to you, take the step to research them, right? This is a quick presentation. We only have about 45 minutes of content. So if you do want more info on something, feel free to ask or make sure that you're taking action or taking notes on that. All right, so I want to talk about what AI tools can really help with regarding video, or more specifically, what sections of video AI tools can help you with. I put a little bit of a gap there between the all-in-one video creation tool. We're going to talk a lot about HubSpot's Creator Clip, but I also want to talk about tools that we can use for video scripting and video concepts. We'll talk about some tools that can create voiceovers and have some audio enhancement features. We'll talk about a tool that can isolate music tracks and specific tracks there. We'll go over some stock imagery tools, some stock video and B-roll tools. And then last, we'll talk about miscellaneous features with AI. So first and foremost, like I just mentioned, I want to talk about HubSpot's Clip Creator. This is a really great tool for someone who's just trying to get into the video world, but says, I don't have a lot of time to learn a new platform, or I don't have time to go through the entire process from scratch, create a video the way I want it. I'm looking for a template tool that will help me jumpstart this action. And that's exactly what HubSpot's Clip Creator is going to be for. It's a really basic video that it creates, but it is a finalized video nonetheless. There are plenty of features you can utilize, but I wanted to take this 5-minute video to really showcase how the tool works, and then we'll talk about it after the fact. So let me go ahead and play this video. Like I mentioned, it's about 5 minutes long, but it's really beneficial and does a really good job of explaining what HubSpot's Clip Creator is. So here we go.
Thanks to HubSpot's AI tools, you can cut down on your content creation time in a snap. Let's take a look at HubSpot's latest AI tool, Clip Creator. Feel free to follow along yourself. Just go down to the description, click the link for Clip Creator, and you can use it yourself for free with HubSpot.
Hi, everyone. This is Adam from HubSpot. As many small teams probably know, creating videos can be an expensive and time-consuming task, especially if you end up working with a professional video production team. And so that's why we created Clip Creator. So Clip Creator is a new AI-powered tool for making videos from a simple text prompt. I'm going to show you exactly how it works here. Go ahead and get started. I'll click on Get Started to go ahead and create an account for HubSpot if I don't already have one, or to sign into my existing account. Once you've signed up for Clip Creator or signed into your account, you'll be able to start creating your video. And the first thing that Clip Creator is going to ask you for is a brief description of the video that you want to create. Now, Clip Creator can create videos across a whole variety of different topics. So whether you want to introduce your business or promote a product, or just talk about some topic that your business has some expertise in, Clip Creator is able to cover a wide variety of different types of videos. Now, for our scenario here, I'm going to go ahead and paste in a description that I already wrote earlier. In this scenario, we're going to imagine that we're a B2B company called Coffee Coco, and we're a food and beverage company, and we're going to use Clip Creator to create a quick promotional video that just talks a little bit about our business. So as part of this description, I've included some of the selling points that I want to make sure that I highlight inside of the video. On the next page, I'm going to provide Clip Creator with some guidance on what tone of voice to use as part of this video. So if I have a particular brand voice that I want to make sure is consistent across all of my marketing channels, I can do the same here in Clip Creator by just providing some adjectives for the tone that it should use as part of this video. On the next screen, I'm going to be able to select a template, and you can just think of a template as a starting point for the look and feel of your video. So you're going to be able to change this later on if you want to swap out images or change colors or anything like that. Template is just a starting point. So I'm going to go ahead and select this Life Skills Hub, which I quite like. And then Clip Creator is going to go off and start to create my video. Now, what's going on behind the scenes here is HubSpot AI is taking that text description that I provided. It is creating a script for the entire video and coming up with text that it's going to use on each one of our slides. And then it's also going to a stock image library to fetch some images that are relevant to the video topic that I want to create. And then once it's done, I have a full video here. So this is actually a full and complete video. If I wanted to, I could go and generate and download this right now, or I can continue to make some tweaks and edits if I want to. You can see in the left sidebar here, I have a very simple view of each one of the slides that I have throughout my video. And on the right-hand side here, I can see a quick preview of the video that I've created. And I can even hit play here just to get an idea of what it's going to look like and see what all of those transitions look like as well. If I want to make some tweaks, I can go in here. I can change some of the text. So let's say that I want to get rid of this word unique here. I can get rid of that text. If I want to reorder some of my slides, I can also do that by just clicking and dragging to reorder. If I don't like some of the images that I picked from the stock library, I can go in here to replace image. I can search that stock library. We're using Shutterstock for images here, or this is HubSpot's full file manager, so I can upload my own images as well if I have some of my own images that I want to include in this video. Some other miscellaneous formatting that I can do. I can change the fonts. I can change the styling of the text. I can also change the background color, the text color, or the primary color as well here. I can also change the default audio track that comes with each one of our videos. Once I'm ready and satisfied with the video, I can go ahead and click on generate here. And then once I've generated that video, I can go ahead and share. And there's a couple of different ways I can share. I can either download the video, which is just going to give me an MP4, or I'm going to go ahead and export this video to a landing page. And that's going to allow me to take the video I just created and then create a full HubSpot landing page with its own custom domain that I can then embed that video into. And I can customize the text on that page as well, the imagery, and even include a lead capture form if I want to get users to sign up after watching that video.
From there, you can take your video, you can move it over to social media, you can put it on YouTube.
All right, so I'm going to go ahead and pause the video there. But that is Clip Creator in a nutshell. Basically, like I mentioned, it's a very relatively simple video editor, almost like a slideshow, but they give you plenty of customizable options. More importantly, you can change out all the imagery, like mentioned there. You can change the text, the font, the branding, the colors, and more. But it allows you to really create videos without learning a new piece of software or an editing platform. It also gives you that ability to create videos quickly, which I know is a big holdup with a lot of marketers trying to really dip their toes into the video world. So again, really good for people just starting in the video world and are looking for a tool that will ultimately help them create content quickly and consistently. If you guys have questions, of course, about HubSpot's Clip Creator, please let me know in the chat. I'll be more than happy to answer questions there as we go along.
Thanks to HubSpot's AI tools, you can cut down.
So the next tool I want to talk about is probably the most well-known AI tool out there. And as you can see on the screen, it's ChatGPT. You're probably thinking, yeah, Aaron, I know about ChatGPT. I already see in the chat there that Frank was talking about ChatGPT. And I just want to walk you through some of the video pre-production capabilities it has to offer and how I personally use it for all of my video needs. So first and foremost, this is the perfect software for an idea generator. Let's say you're just stuck and you're not really sure where to begin with video. Of course, you can ask ChatGPT. You can even ask it to something along the lines of, hey, can you review my website and then recommend me some first videos I should create? It'll go, of course, you're going to need some refinement as well. You'll probably have to give it some follow-up prompts, but for the most part, you should be able to get some good initial ideas through ChatGPT. Now, let's say you've already created some videos. Let's say you got a homepage video, an email signature video, and a process video. You've tackled your initial video goals, but now you're saying, what next? What kind of content can I start creating consistently? And of course, ChatGPT can help you with that too. So make sure that you're always walking through these prompt AI generators and asking them questions consistently. So you're going to get consistent answers and video ideas back. A really good example for a client, take a look at some clients' top ranking blogs. That's what we always do. Which ones stick out the most? Are there any blogs that are performing significantly better than others? Everyone digests content a little bit differently, and some people like to read the blog, but a lot of people will also just like to listen to the blog. So, what we do is we take those highest performing blogs and then we just create a talking head video with some B-roll over top of it. That way, it complements the blog, and people that are more interactive visual learners will be able to watch the video as opposed to reading the entire blog post. So that's another way we're able to utilize ChatGPT and turn it into a video script. And then taking it another step further, let's say you want to create a video from a blog, but you don't know what video clips to overlay, what visuals to really give it. You can ask ChatGPT to create what's called an audio visual sheet. And what it'll do is it'll take all of those audio prompts, all the voiceover that it creates for you, and then it'll coincide it with video shots or video ideas that it has that it thinks that should be on the screen while you're hearing someone talk or while you're hearing the background music. So really good to be able to complement an AV sheet through ChatGPT by giving it questions, giving it prompts, and then receiving all that information back. Of course, there's so many different opportunities for ChatGPT and it has to offer. Do you need new video gear that's recommended? Are you looking to upgrade your camera? Of course, you can ask ChatGPT that. And then, of course, what about a lighting setup, right? With video, everyone wants to kind of always get better at this. Lighting is a great opportunity to make your visuals overall better. You can say, hey, ChatGPT, how should I light this specific idea or shot? And it'll also give you those answers. So I'll stop it right here and I'll just ask you guys a question. Does anyone use ChatGPT or another prompt AI to be able to generate and help with your pre-production efforts? Let us know in the chat as we move along here in the presentation. All right, so this is the next feature that I want to talk about. It's called text to speech, and it's a really interesting concept that I've been starting to utilize more in our video projects. The idea of text to speech is basically just software that analyzes your voice, and then with a large enough sample, you can regenerate your speech from inputted text. There's a few different tools that do this out there, but I always like to talk about the ones I've utilized, and there's two that I've used. Descript's overdub feature, and then 11 Labs as well. With both of these softwares, you'll notice that the more dynamic of a read through you give it, the better the results will be. And I believe even now that this software gives you the exact verbiage that it wants you to read back so it can really create the enhanced AI voice from a dynamic script. But make sure that you emphasize your words, make sure that you're kind of elevating your voice up and down so it really understands all of the pitches of your voice, and then it'll give you the best created voice that you can get. There are plenty of examples on both 11 Labs and Descript online, but I also have one that I just did earlier today, and I will go ahead and play it now. This is my AI voice created by Overdub within Descript. It's a pretty awesome feature that can replicate my voice. Rather than reading out a long script, I can generate my voice through text simply by typing it out. This is useful for long voiceovers or when you need to change a word out from an original recording. All right, so there is the AI voice that I have. Of course, it doesn't sound exactly like me, right? But for the most part, it does a pretty good job at replicating how I sound. Now, if you just listen to that straight up as a file, you'll notice some imperfections and you'll notice even a little bit of roboticness and a very low pitched hum. But if you implement that into a final video with background music and there's other things going on, of course, visuals on the screen as well, a lot of people won't notice the roboticness of the voice or just kind of the shakiness that it kind of provides. And I will say that Descript is getting better with every version that they put out. I've noticed a slight increase or just, I guess, decrease in the roboticness of my voice. So when they first introduced this about a year ago, it was kind of all over the place. You sounded really bad. Now it's a lot more believable. And this is perfect for when I'm doing a voiceover for a client, right? And let's just say they have a bunch of revisions. They decided that this script had one word and it needs to be changed to another word, but there's 20 instances that I say that specific word. What can we do? I can go back into the script, into Descript, and then highlight that one word and just change it out with my overdub voice. And it'll go ahead and replace that specific word in every single instance through the video. So it's very useful in that case. I wouldn't say that I've used it for any single video start to end because, again, it still is a little robotic. But if you need to replace things after the fact or revise things, or let's just say I record on a script and then I go on vacation, someone else can take that and at least replace my voice without having me re-record anything. So again, text to speech is a really interesting feature. And just make sure that the last note that I want to make sure to say is always make sure that you're using it in an ethical manner. So moving on to the next feature that I want to talk about is, and staying along the same tracks of audio, is going to be audio enhancement. Descript also has an audio enhancement feature. That's why you see it there. We also have the Adobe Enhanced Speech feature that is completely free on the internet to utilize. But you'll find that as you record audio, you might have a background sound that's unavoidable, right? I've done it plenty of times where I record voiceovers and a motorcycle drives past 2 minutes and 30 seconds in. There's just nothing I can do about that other than repeating the line. But mistakes happen. Sometimes we record things we don't necessarily intend to. And what audio enhancement or studio sound specifically to Descript does is it takes all those unwanted frequencies and it pulls the levels down on them, while at the same time it's taking all the frequencies from my voice and it's boosting those frequencies. So what we get as a final result is basically an enhanced audio file where a voiceover that may not sound so high quality or some noise in the background that happens, we're able to remove those sounds while simultaneously enhancing the audio of someone's voice. So this is really good. A perfect example is I was editing a wedding video recently, and the groom had a lavalier microphone attached to his suit jacket. But of course, we're not going to put a microphone on the bride, right? This couple did private vows outside. So between birds, the wind, car noises, and just overall distance to the microphone, the bride's audio wasn't very good quality at the end of the day. All I did was import that audio clip into an Adobe Enhanced Speech, and it cleaned the file up. It took those background noises from the birds and the cars. It completely eliminated them. And then it also took the frequencies of her voice and amplified them to make it sound a lot cleaner. So overall, this really saved us in a lot of senses, but it just enhanced the quality of the end final product video. So they were very happy with the final result as well. So these tools are truly incredible and have changed the way that I've looked at audio recording. Previously, I've always emphasized to clients, hey, we need the highest audio quality possible. So even if you're recording it with a phone, can you just go into a closet or can you go into a confined space with dampening? Like closets are perfect because clothing is usually hung up and whatnot. And it dampens a lot of the echo that reverbs around. But at the end of the day, we need high quality audio to be able to put your voice or whatever you're recording into a high quality product video. But of course, at the end of the day, now, if you just give me a cell phone recorded video, I can run it through Enhanced Speech and I should be able to still get a very high quality recording. I will say that this is not a substitution. You should still always record the highest quality audio you can possibly get, but it's kind of a safety net to know that if, hey, I get a file that's not that high quality, I can at least enhance it in that regard. So I see a question coming in actually about Adobe Enhanced Sound right now. Does it make your voice sound a bit robotic? It happens to my voice, but not to others. I've also had it where it messes with the pitch too much. Yeah, so that's the thing with all of these AI tools. And I'll get to this a little bit more at the end here. But it definitely creates a bit of roboticness to your voice. It also can change the pitch a bit. As you just heard from text to speech, my example, it doesn't sound perfect, right? And that's kind of the bigger picture of this entire messaging. I'll say at the end, AI tools are getting better, but I still think we have a long way to go to be perfect. And admittedly, I don't even know if I want to get that far, right? As I was mentioning it, if you clean up, like you just said, echo sounds, or if you're just trying to enhance your speech overall, the idea isn't it to be a standalone file, right? You're still kind of masking those imperfections using background sounds in the video and just adding sound effects and creating visuals on the screen. So that way people aren't completely focused on maybe the imperfections of your voice. But on a standalone perspective, if you run a clean file through, you will notice that there's some roboticness or pitch changes overall. All right. As we go along, of course, you guys can continue to add questions there in the chat and I'll monitor them. But the next AI tool I want to talk about is Lala AI. It's not the only one that does this, but it's the one that I've utilized again. And this is really great for music stems. And you might be thinking, why would I need music stems? And for anyone that doesn't know what a music stem is, it's basically isolating a single track from a song. That way I can pull just the drums or just the guitar or just the vocals, for example. You're probably thinking that's really niche, but what would I use this for? And I've used it for several instances and I've never really been let down. The biggest use case that comes to my mind is editing a video without the source files. As a videographer, I get requests to edit certain clips or certain sections out of a final video, and they want it seamless, right? But at the end of the day, it's really easy to cut a section out of the video. But if you cut the video out, what about the audio? Is there someone talking in the video? And now my audio is completely misaligned. So this is really great for running a finalized video through the music stem AI tool. And then you're able to pull all of the music out, but keep the voice. So what that allows you to do is now you can edit more naturally. And then if you want to then add a new background track in to finalize the video, you can do that, or you can find the old music track and just add that file back in. A lot of different opportunity here, but it just really opens the door up for videographers that are already dealing with final videos. And again, they get a request and says, hey, can you pull 8 seconds out of this final video? I need to make it from a minute 8 down to a full minute so I can add it on the social platforms. But there's a voiceover in it and there's someone talking on camera and I don't know how to do it. Well, now with Lala AI, you can isolate each audio track, pull audio tracks that are unwanted out, make the edits, and then go back in and refine it. So really cool trick for videographers. Now I have a clip here that I'm going to play, and this coincides with Descript Studio Sound because Studio Sound also is able to create music stems, but this video clip is basically doing 2 in 1. It's isolating the vocal track from the music track and it's separating them, but it's also taking the vocal track and enhancing the audio overall. So you'll see that from this clip that I'm going to play.
When the New York World's Fair opened its gates to the world, it was apparent from the beginning that General Motors Highways and Horizons. When the New York World's Fair opened its gates to the world, it was apparent from the beginning that General Motors Highways and Horizons exhibit would prove that.
All right, so Frank just asked for an example, and there's the perfect example, right? So basically, again, isolating that music track and then removing it. If you listen very closely, you'll notice it's not perfect. You'll hear the sound or the music coming through his voice ever so slightly. Again, all of these tools are not perfect, right? You have to tweak them. You have to make little adjustments and changes in all the settings, and you'll be able to get the best result possible. But again, it's never perfect. So I do want to mention that I'm not sitting here and saying, amazing, that was the greatest thing ever. I can isolate any music track, anyone's voice, right? It's never perfect in all instances, but I do think that it's doing a good enough job to be able to utilize in a paid job now. All right, this next feature is really cool, and I have a before and after example of this. It's Descript's eye contact, and I know I've talked about Descript several times in this presentation, but the tool is just really useful for a lot of different AI features that it has. So uh, this is definitely a feature I did not have high hopes for, especially after knowing how some of the audio AI tools work. But one click and it did, again, a pretty good job. Not a perfect job, but a pretty good job. You'll see from the first video I play, basically what I'm doing is I'm reading, it goes back to the actual taking ChatGPT ideas, putting a blog into ChatGPT, turning it into a video script. And this is one of the videos that I recorded for a coinciding video for a blog. So I'll go ahead and play it, and you'll see my eyes are looking down underneath the camera because I'm reading from a script. I'm referencing from that script. And then when I apply eye contact, what it does is it takes my eyes that are looking down and reading, and it changes them to make it look like I'm actually having eye contact with the lens. So it's a little bit weird. And if you really focus in on my eyes, you will see some discrepancies. But I want to go back to, again, audio, adding a music track after the fact, and then of course adding B-roll on top to cut it back and forth from me to other video shots. It's not nearly as noticeable. So let me go ahead and click play on this first one so you can see how I'm reading from something. HubSpot has been recently putting a lot of work into their CRM, and today we're excited to share some big news for the health tech industry. HubSpot is now HIPAA compliant. For those unfamiliar, HIPAA stands for the Health Insurance Portability and Accountability Act. All right, so as you can see, my eyes are going up and down and I'm reading left from right. So let me go ahead and play this one now, and you can see the difference with Descript's eye contact applied. HubSpot has been recently putting a lot of work into their CRM, and today we're excited to share some big news for the health tech industry. HubSpot is now HIPAA compliant. For those unfamiliar, HIPAA stands for the Health Insurance Portability and Accountability Act. So I think the video being small probably on your screen definitely helps, and you probably can't notice that much. That being said, like I mentioned, if I made this full screen and you were able to see it full screen, you'll probably notice a little bit of discrepancy with my eyes. But overall, I just want to talk about it because it does such a good job with one click of a button. Now, there's no advanced features yet within Descript's eye contact feature. I can't go in and tweak the percentage that it applies like some of the other features. But again, one click and it does a really good job. So what I'm telling people now, if you're reading from a script, try to not make it as obvious as possible, right? Try to place your script or your teleprompter, whatever you're reading from, try to place it really close to the lens. At the end of the day, your final recorded video can still kind of showcase that you're looking left to right and up and down a little bit. But I noticed that this feature works a lot better if your eyes are not dynamically moving all over the place. If you're staying in one relative area, your eyes will naturally stay to the lens after applying Descript's eye contact. So another AI tool I just wanted to talk about quickly. HubSpot has been, sorry, having a little YouTube glitch there. All right, and then these are generative AI tools for video. So this is kind of the last section I want to talk about. And reason being is this is probably the most popular form of AI tools within the video world, or at least the most recreationally used side of AI tools out there. And there are a lot of them at this point. A lot more than at least you see on the screen, and it's becoming more popular every day. So the best use case for these tools, in my opinion, is storyboarding. If you don't know what storyboarding is, basically it's a method of creating a visual representation of how a video would look like at the end. Traditionally, there would be reference photographs for like big Hollywood movies. They would go out to a location and actually photograph what they would need beforehand. That way, when they're reviewing all the pre-production work, they know exactly the shot, right? The director of photography, he knows the camera angle, he knows everything that he wants to capture already. Traditionally, these were also sketched by sketch artists. So this is really becoming a lot easier to storyboard now. Let's take a client, for example, right? We have some different retirement communities I create videos for, and trying to get a visual representation of the video I want to create for them is not the easiest thing to explain over text, right? So now with these tools, what I'm able to do is generate a video clip that gives them a sense of idea of what I'm trying to capture, right? They understand the B-roll shot I'm going for, and that way they are as mentally prepared as possible for the video shoot when I'm actually there and the camera is rolling. So really good in that sense. And all these tools also, they do imagery, but they also do video, and they're have different stylistic approaches to them. So you see a bunch of different ones on screen there. Canva it gives it this really dreamy look. It kind of softens the photos and videos up. And it gives it, yeah, just kind of that dreamy look overall, where something like Dolly or Midjourney will give you something a little bit more realistic. It gives it a more stylized look. And then Luma's relatively new, but it's kind of blowing my mind with how good quality the video clips are coming. They were free for the first week, and then they immediately made it a paid subscription because so many people jumped on board with Luma. And then Synthesia is a little bit different than the rest because it actually generates a person on screen and it makes it look like the voiceover is coming from a human. But in my opinion, that's very robotic, and still we're a ways away from generating a human on screen and making it look realistic. So just wanted to showcase a few of these. And then let's walk through a few examples of all this. So here's AI imagery as a storyboard. This is straight from Canva. So this is giving it that more dreamy look and softens up a lot of the realism from the clip. But as I was talking about with the retirement community, it gives it a look to where I can showcase this to a client and they go, all right, now I understand the visual that you're going for. So it's just a quick clip. I'm going to play it like 2 or 3 times, but you can see it is an elderly couple walking through a garden at sunset. And it just gives that image off, right? Like now the client knows the exact perspective I'm trying to achieve when I show up and say, hey, we need to get a sunset shot of a couple walking away from the camera in the garden. So that is one example that I wanted to show. And then a second one is, here we go. I generated a clip of a boat on water. So basically I do a lot of drone shots, and I wanted to see how good AI was at recreating a drone shot. And when people say, oh, what kind of shot are you trying to get? I wanted to see if I was able to generate that and then give it back and say, this is a good example of what I was aiming for. So here is another AI generated clip of boat on water. And it did a really good job with the water, I would say. You can see it still kind of gives it that dreamy look, but because it's from a different perspective, we can't see as much blending as the first clip we watched there. So again, really good visual ideas here for storyboarding. And then this last one, if I can get to it, here we go. I wanted to showcase a clip that doesn't work at all because I think it's important to showcase this. Most of the time, you don't get your intended results. As we were just talking about with Adobe Enhanced Speech, it may not give you the intended result, and you have to go back and tweak some settings or tweak your prompt or whatever it may be. But there is always sort of settings that you can adjust to try to get it there. And this is the perfect example of me giving an initial prompt and it just came out wrong. Basically, I just said, all I want is an aerial shot of some docks and a boat pulling up to one of the docks. And this was the result that I received. So as you can see there, it's just completely wrong, right? The boat is over top the dock. The water is over top the road. And then the dock is just completely out of sync, right? It's like completely wrong. And again, just wanted to showcase that because most of the time when you enter prompt into AI, you're not going to get that intended result. And I don't give up, right? Always try to refine it, always try to tweak it until you get the intended result. That is what AI is all about right now. Typically, you're not going to end up with the perfect shot or the perfect prompt on your first try. So That's what that clip is all about. And then we have another example here, and this is images, right? So we created a commercial for a local mattress company, and I was trying to generate images of the camera angles that I wanted to achieve with them without just sending them a bunch of text and say, here's the concept, here's the idea in a document, read it over and try to picture it in your own head. Instead, I was able to generate some images, send it to them, and then they go, yeah, that's actually the perfect idea. That's exactly how I want to capture it. So if you ignore the faces, which are a little bit creepy, you still get a good idea of how it's going to look at the end of the day. So that is another example. And then Adobe Generative Fill. This is the feature that I want to talk about with just AI imagery creation. This one's really cool and probably my favorite overall. And on the screen is the perfect example of this. Chris from Wistia did this example. And basically what he's showcasing here is Adobe generating the area around him to create a wider and larger frame. It's not going to work well if your shot is moving at all, right? If the camera angle is moving ever so slightly, this is not going to work. But if you're creating a static shot that's just straight on, you can generate as much space around you as you can, as long as the frame is relatively clean. Again, this is great for tight studios, or if you just have a shot that feels too close. So I'm going to walk you through a couple more examples of this that I really like. And you can see from this shot, there's 4 different backgrounds of a guy walking through a field, right? It's as creative as you want to get. Of course, use cases are all over the place here, but again, just giving a wide variety of ideas. Here's another one. A guy, actually, the video is not of a blank room. It is a vertical video of just him and that dark gray background. And then he generated the window. He generated the white wall on the side of his left side, and then took it a step further by generating a couch, a light, a piece of painting. So really creative use cases here for AI generative fill to create larger frames for yourself. I did this as well with my studio, and I got some really unique results. It took me probably about an hour to get the frame kind of perfected, but I was able to generate like 80 guitars around me, and it looked crazy, and I looked like I was in an absolutely massive room. So you can achieve this feature with Adobe Generative Fill if you have some Photoshop skills and are able to go in and tweak it. All right, so that takes us to final thoughts. We've made it to the end here, and I just want to share my short but strong feelings of AI tools right now and where we will go with it. I think we're at a really good starting point, specifically to audio AI features. I think that's where we've made the most strides and have created the most useful tools to utilize regularly. Not every day am I generating a random video clip and using it in projects, but at any given point, I can take recorded audio, run it through Studio Sound or run it through Enhanced Speech, and produce a much more professional quality audio clip with little effort. So overall, AI tools in the audio world, I would say we're 80% there. It's pretty good, but it still needs a little bit of work. On the video side, I'm excited to see where video generation gets, but at this point, it's still too far off the realistic aspect to be able to utilize on a regular basis. So I think there's still plenty of room for improvement on the video side of things. On the tool side of things, that's where I see us taking the next steps, the next biggest jumps, right? Like that eye contact feature is probably the most impressive feature that I've seen on the video side of things, especially with just one click and it generates it. But overall, again, I'm seeing more features that are being implemented into editing platforms versus all-in-one standalone platforms that can generate video from scratch, like the HubSpot clip creator tool. So that being said, I think we have all those interesting features are coming out. And I'm starting, have you guys heard of the phrase GIGO? It is garbage in, garbage out. Starting to rethink that phrase a little bit, because with AI, we might be able to change something that's not so good and turn it into something good, where previously, if you shot something and it didn't work, you got to reshoot it. So that's my 2 cents with AI video tools. I would love to now shift it into Q&A. That's my entire presentation. So if you guys have any questions, feel free to come off of mute and ask me. Feel free to type in the chat. I'm going to hang out for the next 5 minutes or so and answer any questions. If there's a bunch of questions, I'll hang out till 5 p.m. Eastern time. If there's not questions, I'll hang out for a few minutes. Yeah, thank you, Sarah. I appreciate you coming and attending. And we have more of these events before the end of the year as well. So let me actually see if I can pull up a quick link and get you guys for the next event as well. All right. A lot of people just saying thank you. Thank you for attending, of course. We very much appreciate it. It looks like our next Hug event is going to be how to repurpose long form video content. Let me get a link for you guys, but that is going to be on October 17th of this year.
I just added it, Aaron.
Oh, yes. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah, sure thing.
All right. What about some tools for voiceovers, not our own voice through by preset voices? Actually, okay. So I've buttered Descript up enough in this presentation, but that is one of the other features that I didn't talk about because I feel like it's becoming involved in a lot of different editing tools. But Descript is probably my favorite because it's got, I would say, a dozen preset voices that you can choose from. You can choose from a female or male voice, more masculine, feminine, whatever it may be. But Descript is one of those platforms that can do that. I can't remember the name. I'm blanking on the name, but every single one of my YouTube ads currently is one that changes your voice into an older man or a younger person or whatever it may be. But there are so many platforms out there where you can generate audio through preset voices, and Descript is one of those platforms. So I mentioned Descript as well because it's a free to use platform. So if you're interested in it, feel free to sign up and just test these features out. All of these features are free to use, so please go test them out. Is HubSpot Clip Tool creating only graphical part of video? What about speech with subtitles? Yeah, so HubSpot Clip Tool, Clip Creator is only good for creating a preset video with slides, with images, and of course you can change those images. You can change out the branding, but at the end of the day, you're just going to have a video with some messaging on it and an audio track that you can choose from commercial-free music. That being said, what you can do is you can take that finalized video and then go into something like Descript and create those voices, create a voiceover, and then apply that voiceover onto the final video. So that way you're kind of pairing the two applications together and coming up with a better high quality video. So that's one idea you can do. I see we've tried Google Bard, but it doesn't have enough emotion. I've looked into Artlist AI's new voices, but the tool is so expensive. Yeah. So actually, we have a subscription to Artlist and I've utilized it. It's very expensive. It does an incredible job, but I don't like to talk about Artlist just because of the pricing point. It is a bit higher when it comes to this. And so a lot of the features I've been mentioning in this presentation are either going to be free or trial features that you can at least go and sign up for a trial and test it out and see if you like it. Any experience with really good tested voice to subtitle generator? Here I go again about Descript. Descript is excellent for that. It was actually created for adding subtitles into your videos. That was its initial feature, because the reason I mentioned Descript so much is because it is a text editor versus a video editor. Of course, you can make it look just like a natural video platform, but what it's really unique is it transcribes all videos that you upload into it. And so when you're going to edit a video, instead of getting the natural linear timeline at the bottom of an editor and having to cut and splice your video clip to edit, you can edit through the text of the document. So if you want to remove an entire sentence, you can just go in and highlight that sentence, remove it, and it removes it from the video. And then from there, when you go to publish the video, you can add in subtitles, you can add in burnt subtitles, and there's as much customizable features for subtitles as you can think within Descript. So that's how we create all of our subtitles, our SRT files that are closed captions that we add into the video. We do it that way with it. It also is multi-language. So if you're doing it with multiple languages, that's a great idea. And then it also can create burnt in captions on the video for you. So a lot of unique features within Descript. And again, it is a free to use platform. So yeah, we use Artlist for music, but their new narration voices is only available for an additional cost, and a pretty steep additional cost at that. So I totally understand where you're coming from. Artlist is probably hands down my favorite platform for music, but yeah, I definitely would not recommend it because it's just such a high monthly cost for people. And we try to recommend things that are inexpensive or free, like I mentioned. I will have a fun, while no other questions are here, I'll just mention the fact that we used to use Epidemic Sound. And when we went to Artlist, we actually got copyright. All of the videos got copywritten, struck on YouTube, because what Epidemic does is if you don't have an active subscription, and this might have changed, so I want to caveat this, but if you didn't have an active subscription with them, they actually copyright struck, if I'm saying that right, the videos that you have when you unsubscribe from Epidemic Sound. So what Artlist promised was, even if you leave our platform, we don't copyright strike your videos after the fact. So that was one big reason why I switched over from Epidemic to Artlist. All right, I think we're at a pretty good spot. If you guys have additional questions, I want to invite you to the HubSpot community. Let me actually quickly, can you repeat the name of Artlist tool? Yes, it's here. Let me actually just put that in the chat. Artlist.io is the main website. And Artlist.ai, I believe, is their additional features, but Artlist.io should have everything included on that website there. Okay, I want to quickly put the link here for the HubSpot community for video. This is a great place to register to and ask any questions you have here, because I'm kind of creeping this board at all times, almost every day. And I also get email updates. So if someone adds a new post or a new comment, I get an email that notifies me and says, hey, someone asked a question in the community, and I'll jump back in there and answer if it's necessary. There's also community managers that are also answering questions within there as well. So if you guys have questions, anything video related, feel free to sign up for the community and ask the question there, and either me or a community manager will answer your question. And then if you guys want to attend the next event, Amanda also added that link. I'm just going to recopy and paste it here. Make sure that you register for that upcoming event. It's on how to repurpose long form video content. So I'll leave it at that. I'll end the presentation now. For everyone that's still here, thank you so much for getting through all of this with us, and we will see you at the next event. Thank you so much.